the way mushrooms are actually grown just by nature is incredibly sustainable.
Welcome, neighbors, to Hometown Earth, the podcast that brings a down-to-earth approach to all of your sustainability questions. I'm your host, Lena Sanford, here on the Believe Podcast Network, the #1 podcast network for professionals. Here, we believe that everyone can change the world. Do you believe? I'm a Midwest gal with big dreams to discover what it takes to reduce my impact on this beautiful place we call Hometown Earth. Join me every Tuesday as we navigate what actions we can take, big or small, to make a positive impact in your life and the lives of your neighbors on Hometown Earth. Hello, neighbors. When I was thinking about healthier, sustainable food habits, I thought, is there a food that makes it easy, that stands out for being naturally and mutually beneficial for the planet and our bodies? The answer might be obvious from the episode title: mushrooms. Mushrooms are considered to be one of the most sustainably produced agriculture products in the nation, and they are incredibly beneficial to our health. That leads me to today's episode with guest Eric Davis, storytelling expert of mushrooms, or he would probably tell you the PR director on behalf of the Mushroom Council. Eric has, for the past 7 years, led consumer media outreach on behalf of the Mushroom Council, which represents fresh mushroom producers and importers who average more than 500,000 pounds of mushrooms produced or imported annually. Eric has the great fortune of sharing mushrooms' distinct nutrition, taste, versatility, and sustainability stories to media and other audiences nationwide. And I am so thankful that we got to have him on the podcast to chat mushrooms. The Mushroom Council helps support the industry of mushrooms while educating consumers on their health benefits and sustainability. You can find mushroom hacks, recipes, facts, and more at www.mushroomcouncil.com or connect with them on social media by searching Mushroom Council. In today's episode, Eric gives us insight into the health and sustainability benefits of mushrooms, their blend campaign, and some really neat ways to start eating more mushrooms today. So let's get into it with Eric Davis of the Mushroom Council. I am so excited for this call today. When we hear the Mushroom Council, a lot of things might come to your mind visually, but just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and the Mushroom Council.
Absolutely. And thank you. It's a pleasure to be a part of this podcast today and a pleasure to have this conversation with you. My name is Eric Davis, and I work in communications on behalf of the Mushroom Council. You can find us at mushroomcouncil.com. And we actually represent mushroom growers all across the nation. We represent the mushroom producers, the mushroom distributors, importers as well, specifically fresh mushrooms. So the fresh cultivated mushrooms like portobello, cremini, shiitake, white buttons, those that you find in grocery stores, those that you order on menus at restaurants all across the nation. And typically it's the producers and the importers who average about 500,000 pounds or more a year. So we all work collectively to increase awareness and excitement and interest in mushrooms. And that could be through telling the story about mushrooms' incredible taste, telling the story, their incredible sustainability story, or the deliciousness or the usage of different varieties and inspiration. So we love mushrooms, and we try to spread that love to others as well.
I love that. A little bit about mushrooms then. Yes. Since you said you love mushrooms, what's your favorite mushroom? We'll get going on that.
That's a great question, and mine is the good old portobello, because you could do so many things with it. Obviously, you could marinate it and have it like as a portobello burger. You could chop it up, blend it in with meat. You could chop it up for your salad. Its earthy flavor could be added to soups. Yeah. One thing I really love, and I know that you're from Missouri, close to Kansas. I'm originally from Nashville, so love barbecue. So one thing I love to do is roast it and then shred portobello, marinate it in barbecue sauce.
And
then you have a pulled port
oh,
sandwich. So that's my favorite.
I have never done that. I truthfully used to be so like I didn't know much about mushrooms. I grew up in the Boot Hill, Missouri. I don't really remember eating mushrooms like as a kid. And then going into adulthood, I'm a vegan now, and it was kind of like fuel by fire. Like mushrooms are going to be your new best friend. And I've learned to cook them so many different ways, and they're so flavorful. But I'm barely even scratched the surface. I've never made a pulled pork sandwich, so I'll have to try that out.
Oh, you will love it. It's incredibly delicious, and it's got that meaty, earthy quality to it, and filling as well. Just absolutely delicious.
Well, so the Mushroom Council is trying to reach kind of everybody about what the benefits of mushrooms and why mushrooms are so great. The Mushroom Council has named mushrooms the official ingredient of Earth Month, but I think that should be center of the plate all year long.
Exactly.
Can you tell us a little bit about what makes them so earth friendly?
Absolutely. That one of the wonderful things about mushrooms is just their inherent sustainability. We always like to say mushrooms are not only healthy on your plate, they're gentle on the planet. So here's some interesting thing about mushrooms. First of all, I want to preface every farmer that I've ever worked with, every food producer that I've ever known or communicated with, everyone is doing their utmost to be more sustainable, to have a smaller footprint, to be more mindful of the environment. They're constantly working towards advancing their industry, advancing their crop, advancing their business. And that's a wonderful thing. Now, what makes mushrooms a little special that we love is that they're inherently sustainable. The way mushrooms are actually grown just by nature is incredibly sustainable. Mushrooms require a very minimal environmental footprint, and I'm gonna read this. So I have some interesting data here because I don't want to get the data wrong.
Absolutely.
But here's a couple of data points on this. So say a producer is growing 1 pound of mushrooms. So 1 pound of mushrooms. So to produce 1 pound of mushrooms, it only requires 1.8 gallons of water. Now, just for comparison, when you take one shower, you're using about 17 gallons of water. So that's the comparison there of water usage. So minimal amount of water. Electricity. So to produce a pound of mushrooms, it's 1.0, so 1 kilowatt hour of electricity. And for comparison, one household is 29 kilowatt hours of electricity per day. So that's kind of the comparison of just how little it requires. And producing a pound of mushrooms, only 0.7 pounds of CO2 equivalent. So again, very little emissions to produce a pound. So just a very small environmental footprint, just by the nature of producing mushrooms. And then on top of that, you don't need a lot of space to grow a lot of mushrooms. You could grow 1 million pounds of mushrooms every year on 1 acre of land. So 1 acre of land gets you 1 million pounds of mushrooms. And they're grown in composted agriculture materials, so it's sustainable going in, and the compost is regenerated, recycled into potting soil going out. So the soil follows such a clean path, and they're grown indoors year round. Producers don't have to navigate, with climate, with the weather or other things. It's for the most part, it's all indoors, and mushrooms are also one of the foods where you use the whole mushroom.
That's what I was thinking of. There's not much waste. You could, I guess, do something with the little stems, but I eat those. I don't know if you're supposed to or not.
Oh yes, that's a great question, and you can roast them. You can make stock out of it, and or we just straight up eat it. It's all there for you.
If people aren't convinced already that that's incredibly sustainable, I think the numbers that you just said, like, really, I love those comparisons because it really just puts it in a perspective where anybody can understand. If you're just talking about X amount of water, people are like, huh? But when you say, your shower is more than that daily, it kind of, definitely puts things in perspective. So I really like that. But let's take that even maybe a step further. Can you speak to how they're healthier on our plate?
Absolutely. And that's another thing that I love working with mushrooms is that there's just so many different stories from it. There's the sustainability story, And now here comes the nutrition story, which is pretty incredible as well. So every variety, white button, maitake, shiitake, portobello, my favorite, creminis, their nutritional totals vary somewhat. But there's some consistency throughout, but they do vary somewhat. But all mushrooms in general, very low in calories, fat-free, cholesterol-free, gluten-free, very low in sodium, particularly honing in on the calories, the fat-free, the cholesterol, and the sodium. That's what makes it such an incredible earthy, meaty food to maybe blend in with meat. If you consume meat, blend it in. You're cutting back. You're beefing up pardon the pun, but you're beefing up the nutrition quotients as well. You're already getting nutrition with the beef or the meat, but you're adding to it while also dialing back some of those things that you don't want.
Are you ready when inspiration strikes? Now you can take notes while listening to Hometown Earth, write quotes, facts, or even journal with our limited collection of pocket notebooks. Designed by a local artist and produced on 100% recycled paper, these will be your new favorite on-the-go notepads. Get yours today at lenasanford.com/shop.
Yeah, I think that's even a good segue. Y'all have a campaign going called The Blend.
Yes.
And, I think that for me, like I said, mushrooms have kind of in the past been mysterious, and I'm like, yes. I don't know what to do with them, and I don't know what they should taste like or whatever. So y'all kind of have came up with this really cool campaign to get that everyday meal incorporating some mushrooms. So you want to talk about The Blend for us just a minute?
Sure, would love to talk about it. And we call it The Blend, and it's even trademarked, which is a great thing. But The Blend is actually what it's up to the home cook and up to the chef. All that we recommend is that you blend at least 25% finely chopped fresh mushrooms with a protein. And you could go up to 35, you can go up to 50. If you're going over 50, it's probably going to be hard to keep it together on your grill.
Yeah.
But you get the point. So we're talking burgers, tacos, bolognese sauce, meatloaf, of course, other dishes as well. It could be beef, chicken. It could be lentils as well, pork. And what you do, you chop up the mushrooms at that consistency of the meat that you're working with. Blend it together. Yeah. And you can have a burger that is lower in fat, lower in cholesterol, lower in sodium, lower in calories, but also that's what you take out. But what you add is this incredible lift to flavor. Mm-hmm. I encourage everyone who's planning. It's we're almost at the weekend here, but everyone who's planning to maybe cook some burgers this weekend, give this a try. Go grab some mushrooms, your favorite variety. Doesn't matter which type, your favorite fresh mushroom. Chop it up, blend it with the meat, and it will enhance the flavor. It'll dial back on some things that you don't want and add some things that you really want. They're actually the perfect partner to meat. And there's plenty of data out there that shows that consumers are really interested in flexitarian diet. A recent report from the Power of Meat had 1 in 6 saying that they are interested in that flexitarian movement there. So again, mushrooms are the answer in that as well. But and again, it's the blend, but there's no rules except that at least 25% to bring you that flavor lift, that incredible deliciousness, that adding more nutrition, incredible flavor, and also making the food a little more sustainable as well.
Mushrooms, they have their own unique flavor that's just so delicious, but then they also soak in and amplify whatever you're putting it with. It's insane that it can do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Also, you're kind of mentioning all these different recipes and resources. Can you tell us more about how, specifically the Mushroom Council educates people who are either buying mushrooms at the store or ordering on the menu or cooking them in their home? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Absolutely. So picking up on a couple of things that you had said earlier, who do we like to reach? We like to reach everyone, yes, but we like to reach folks that may already be interested in mushrooms, okay, and maybe they buy it, every now and then, or order it on, or get it on a pizza, maybe at their local pizza place. And we're trying to say there's so much more that you can do. And there may be things about mushrooms you didn't even know. So here's other ideas: blending, obviously, roasting, omelets, your own home pizzas, things of that nature. Adding mushrooms brings so many benefits. There's health benefits, nutrition benefits, taste benefits, but then also taking away, as you were saying, some of that mystique from mushrooms as well. Mushrooms are also one of the few foods that you can't mess up. You can't
I agree with
overcook them.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. You can't overcook them. If you don't chop them fine enough, there's still going to be that moist, meaty
Yeah.
thing in your dish. Oh, you didn't get the right variety that you were planning. You misread the label. You're still going to get this earthy flavor lift no matter what. So
It'll be a nice surprise.
exactly. So we both want people who already are buying mushrooms to maybe this be a pantry staple for you, that buy it every week and you'll be amazed at what you could do in every meal of the day, how mushrooms can be involved. Or if you aren't eating mushrooms, to just consider them as well.
I think that's great. I'm already, was poking through all of your social media and resources on your website, and there's so many great
Oh
recipes
yes.
that really just make everything that you're talking about tangible and touchable. And it's like, okay, I'm going to try this out once a week, or try a new recipe out, or try something that I haven't with mushrooms. Like even breakfast burritos. I love having
Exactly.
those. Throwing those
Exactly.
in, throwing some mushrooms in my breakfast burrito would be an easy switch. So I really
Absolutely.
like that. Well, you have just kind of touched on literally you're so good at succinctly persuading me, I guess, me and the rest of the audience on mushrooms. Is there anything that, the Mushroom Council specifically really wants people to know that you might not have said
Sure.
about mushrooms, or about even, the mushroom industry from the producer side, or
Mhm.
the retail side of things?
So I didn't mention this earlier, but something interesting. Going back to the blend, and remember how I was saying, I encourage anyone to try the blend,
Yeah.
make it your own, and see what you come up with. Blend it in with your favorite burger recipe. Okay, so here's a very cool thing. We're announcing it next week, that we are partnering with Food Network magazine. So Food Network magazine, Food Network, online as well, having what we're calling the Blended Burger Contest.
Oh,
And
wow.
so if you visit our site starting next week, mushroomcouncil.com, there'll be a link on there on the front page next week, mushroomcouncil.com/blended burger contest. But you
Yeah.
can just hit our website. You can find out details on how you can enter in your recipe over the next couple of months to foodnetwork.com, or how you do that. And it starts April 26th, goes through June 27th. And you can enter to win $10,000 in prizes. If
Oh my
it turns out,
gosh.
judges will select the best recipe. So $10,000 for the best blended burger. So visit our website. Keep an eye out on it for all the details that'll be coming. And mushroomcouncil.com will have the details, and we will be very excited to launch that. It starts April 26th, goes all the way through June 27th, is your chance to enter your favorite recipe.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's amazing. My partner loves making any kind of stuff like that. So I'm going to sick him on it and
Oh,
to
yeah. Yeah.
get him to make some neat mushroom recipes to submit.
And again, it can be beef, pork, chicken. It could be lentils as well for those who are vegan.
Ooh, we'll go head to head. I'll make a lentil burger.
Oh yeah, exactly. And some folks, if you do Beyond, or you do the plant-based Beyond, this is an interesting thing to try. Highly encourage this for the folks who are vegan or vegetarian. Grab some Beyond Burger, at your grocery store, Impossible.
Yeah.
Blend it with mushrooms, and it tastes incredible. Just tastes
Oh my
incredible.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, I'm really excited about that, and I know the audience will be as well.
Yeah.
To kind of get their submissions in for that.
Yes.
I guess my last question, you kind of already told us which mushroom was your favorite and how you like to cook it. What mushroom would you suggest for people who are just starting out that might, have not know where to start? There's plenty of resources, but where's the best place for them to start?
Well, I would start, obviously visit our website to get a little bit more details about mushrooms. But that's, of all the varieties, there's white button, which is the most common. There's portobello, which is my personal favorite, the really meaty one. And then you got shiitakes or maitakes, or the royal trumpets. Those very interesting
the
ones.
lion's mane is beautiful.
Yes, yeah. I feel like lion's mane is going to be the new trendy food soon. Everyone's really, really jumping on that, and I love it too.
I've never had it. I've seen it at the farmer's market, and I just look at them like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even cut that. I want to put it in my, window as a decoration. They're beautiful.
Well, but if I had to start somewhere, I would go with cremini, or often called, the brown buttons, because what you have there is that it's incredibly versatile, and cremini sometimes called baby bella, sometimes called brown. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of that bridge between white buttons, the most common one, to portobello, which has that more meaty, earthy flavor, and that's a perfect place to start, would be cremini.
Another thing that's so great about mushrooms is that they are accessible nationwide. Like you can get them everywhere and all over the world, truly.
Always in season in the United States, because they can be grown year round. So always in season.
Another reason why they're so sustainable.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on Hometown Earth. I will be sure to, link everything in the episode show notes so that people can get connected with the Mushroom Council. And hopefully we will continue to hear more great things coming up from y'all.
Anytime. Thank you so much for having us on your show today.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Hometown Earth as much as I did. Let us know by rating and subscribing so you never miss an episode. New episodes drop every week on Tuesday. Head to the show notes, linked in the episode description, for more details. And let us know in the comments what you want to hear next. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And you can find more about the podcast on Instagram at Hometown Earth, or connect with me personally at Lena Sanford. We all know change needs to happen, so let's get started right here at Hometown Earth.